Hi, welcome back to Sadiessassyreptiles. This is part 2 of the Australia Zoo. We're in the Crikey Cafe looking at the Crocoseum. We're going to be in there watching the Crocodile show later. We went to the Crikey Cafe. It was so big. It's like this big open area with a lot of tables, but there's a roof and a lot of cafes. But you're also allowed to bring your own food to eat in the cafe area. And then after we ate our lunch, we went to the Crocoseum to see the Crocoseum show, the thing I was most excited to see in the whole zoo. At the beginning of the Croc show, while you're waiting, they'll be playing the Crocodile Hunters shows on the TV. It will be crowded very soon.
Where are we?
The Crocoseum. This pool, where you see that the pool keeps on continuing all the way down to that Crikey gate, it does that because their show crocodiles, they'll put them in enclosures back there, and there's a gate that they can lift up and it connects to that the pool, that stream of water, and then the crocodile will swim, it will swim through the stream of water out the Crikey gate into the Crocoseum.
G'day and welcome to Australia Zoo. And welcome into our world famous Crocoseum. How are we all doing today? Now that is what we love to hear. Guys, my name is Liz, if you haven't already met. And my name is Candace. Before we continue, we would love to acknowledge present and future. Thank you for that, Candace. Now guys, before we get into our amazing Wildlife Warrior show, we'd love to take the time to get to know each and every one of you. So who can tell containers for change bins too? We have various location points around the zoo so you can start making that positive change today.
But hey, don't forget to continue that conservation.
And our proudest Crikey, counting down from 3, guys. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Yes, guys, now that is what I'm talking about. Ooh, group number 2, you got your work cut out for you.
At the beginning of the Crocoseum show, there's birds flying all around the whole Crocoseum, and then they'll fly to their trainers.
Come with me. Let's get him.
G'day and welcome to Wildlife Warriors!
Today is a celebration of wildlife and conservation. And it's thanks to Steve's dream that we can bring you animals.
These colourful characters are pretty hard to miss, both in sight and sound.
Now there are 17 different species of flora on our planet, ranging in size from that of a small parrot all the way to that of a hyacinth, which can grow to be over a metre long.
And they all have unique personalities and looks. Those feather lines on their face.
When the birds go back, they bring out snakes, and they'll be walking around the floor of the Crocoseum showing everybody the cool snakes.
Snake, they're non-venomous, but you will be glad to know that the ones joining you are all of the non-venomous variety, and they've grown up right here in Australia Zoo, so they're feeling nice and comfortable around people.
Now if you want to see the wild through a snake's eyes, you learn they rely more on movement than shapes and colours. And Rosie, they don't have ears quite like ours.
So when I see a snake, I'll scream. What you're saying is that we're unaffected. But if I was to stand near one or on one, that's a very different story.
Very different story. If a snake was to feel cornered or threatened, the open
Now thanks to her, we've got our compression bandage. But if you do find yourself with a bite and not one of these, a strip of fabric or even a towel could be used, but only as a compression bandage. Now not so tight that you're cutting off circulation, but just as tight as you would on a sprained ankle or a wrist.
Step number 3 is to call an ambulance. Keep your patient calm and still, and always remember to let the help come to you.
Now we've just been joined by Albert and Scuba. Albert, he's the larger of the two and he's a greater cormorant, whereas Scuba, the smaller two-tone bird, well, she's a little pied cormorant. And as you guys can see, they are pretty much perfectly designed for life under the water. Now that's because
Now, she's almost done. It's on your time now, Lil. Perfect, mate. Now, do you want to stay there for me? Okay, you wiggle your hand just a little bit for me. So wiggle it, just to give it a little bit of a correction. She should come up to you. Oh, good job, Lil. Let her play with the knife. She's really curious. Come on, darling.
I like this one. I like this one
Aussie natives, they do rely heavily on the bush for their food and shelter. So it's important to remember that no bush means no birds. Now, worldwide habitat loss is still the #1 threat facing all of our native wildlife.
So let's make a difference.
14 feet long, weighing in at 350 kilograms. It's the first croc ever fed in the Crocoseum, Murray.
Those birds better
Free
move.
today, and to tell you all about Murray, give it up, it's the
And once the snakes go in, dun dun dun, they bring out the croc. And so there's this gate. It's actually a really cool mechanism. So behind the Crocoseum, there's these swimming pools for the crocs where they put them in, like they move from their enclosure into their whatever croc is gonna do the show. And then there's a gate inside the pool that will come up, and it's just this little, like, sliver of, like, this little stream of water, big enough for the croc, obviously, that leads to the gate to the Crocoseum. And then they'll open the gate, and then the croc will come swimming out into the Crocoseum pool. And they'll be like smacking like its food on the ground so it can come out. They'll teach you like not to approach a croc's pond because they don't like that because it's their territory. And then after they feed it that food, somebody will go up on this little boardwalk thing that hangs over the water, and they'll be holding up the food in the air, and the croc will come out, jump up in there and grab it and fall back down. Then the croc will come out of the water, and the person's like 2 feet away from it, shaking its food around, and it will throw it up in the air and catch it.
That keep him camouflaged under even knee-deep water. So he's creating currents and counter-currents which cancel each other out, so he can be undetected in even the shallowest of water. Now he doesn't even have to pop up, see, hear or smell Jimmy or myself. He can feel the vibrations on the ground as Jimmy taps his feet. They've got integumentary sensor organs, so he can lock on to that exact location. Watch him as Jimmy moves. He'll follow him throughout the entire presentation. Now, these guys typically go for the sick, the weak and the uneducated, so Jimmy is feeding today. Good luck, mate.
Thanks heaps, Howie.
No worries. Now keep in mind, Murray can put on a strike from that tip of the nose to the base of their tail. There's a strike just there. Give it up for him, guys. It was pretty good for Murray. Well, he can go, like I said, tip of the nose to the base of the tail so hard and fast that nothing in the Australian bush can out.
If I go quiet or I seem nervous, it's because I am. Now, come on mate, there we go. Nice little flick of the tail and he covers that ground. Go for the food, buddy. Have it. Nice catch, mate. Nice catch. You can give it up for him. He's an absolute weapon. Have a go. Well, stay there. Have a go at those size of those.
What do we call this? The tail hawk. And it's not a trick we've had to teach any of our crocs how to do here at the zoo. They know exactly how to do this from the day that they hatch out of the egg. They're only around 15 centimetres long, about 50 grams. And they'll hide out in the reeds and the mangroves because everything wants to eat a baby saltwater crocodile. They're eating things like insects and bugs. And then once they get to Murray size and even larger, they can start getting the head over the top of this red here where Jimmy's feeding. There's that bone-on-bone jaw pressure, that popping sound that Jimmy was talking about before, that bone-on-bone jaw pressure. So they can start eating things like birds, flying foxes, anything overhanging the water. So if you're ever up in northern Australia and you see, you know, big Melaleuca trees, they might look like a good place to flick a lure or get a nice Instagram photo. Definitely think again, because people have definitely been...
Too long? Yeah. We'll see if we can't get Murray out one last time. He has put on some good strikes, but we want to try and show you just how fast a large salty can move on the hard, solid ground. Some people tell you they can run as fast as a horse or as someone on a motorbike. If that's the case, I'm in a world of hurt. Come on, mate. There's the strike, and that is flat out for the big fella on the hard, solid ground now. Yeah, he's done fantastic today. Well done, Murray. It is winter still, and he's not firing on all cylinders, but it
We're at Robert's Reptile House at the Australia Zoo. Come on, let's go check it out. After the Crocoseum, we went to Robert's Reptile House. It was so cool. There were so many reptiles. This is the fierce snake. They eat small mammals and especially rats. It's the most venomous snake in the world.
In the world?
Yep. This is the western brown snake. They can live up to 30 years, and their habitats are woodlands, deserts, things like that. This is the taipan. They eat rodents, small mammals, and birds. This is the eastern tiger snake. They eat lizards, frogs, small mammals, and birds. they can grow up to 3 meters. And this is a great habitat. They eat reptiles, but also mammals, frogs, and birds. This is a Woma python. They can grow up to 7 feet 6 inches.
It's non-venomous.
Yes, but it eats venomous snakes. This is the red-bellied black snake. They can grow up to 7 feet long. They eat frogs, reptiles, and mammals. They live in forests, near swamps, and water courses. A Gila monster! Look at the Gila monster. It's a venomous lizard. And they can be found in the United States of America. Their habitats are dried.
And northern Mexico.
Yes. Here's a king cobra. It's the world's largest venomous snake. And if you like king cobras, then you can check out my king cobra Chiang Mai show. I'll link that video in the description box below. Check it out. They can grow up to 5.7 meters. They live in rainforests and bamboo thickets. In this enclosure, there's a white-lipped tree frog and a Boyd's forest dragon. Here's a shingleback skink, and in this enclosure, there's also a bearded dragon and a yakak skink. Here's another shingleback. Oh, they're so cute. Are you kidding me? He's like, you're in my way, you're not moving. Oh, here's the yayak skink.
Yakka skink.
Yeah, it's right here. In this enclosure, there's eastern diamondback rattlesnakes and corn snakes.
It's moving. In this enclosure, there's a Fijian crested iguana and a star tortoise. Where's the iguana?
Up there. The iguana can grow up to 75 centimeters
from nose to tail tip.
Oh, it's from Fiji.
Yeah, that's why it's Fijian. Here's a scrub python. They eat mammals and birds. There's actually 2 of them in here. This is Australia's longest snake. And just to give you an idea of how big they can get, scrub babies in the rainforest of northern Queensland have been known to take on food items as large as a full-grown wallaby. And guess what? We even got to feed wallabies and kangaroos. It was so cool. They have such a big enclosure, and you don't really want to approach them too much because they'll probably get scared. But if they come up to you, they can get some food, and they have a little area where you're not allowed inside it, so they can hang out in there without people messing with them, and you're also allowed to pet them. Kangaroo.
It's a kangaroo and a wallaby.
Mm-hmm.
Here, give this Crocodile food.
That one was eating the other.
You can try to pet him, it worked for me.
You gonna feed that one?
Said it, can I try?
Yeah, he's hungry. He'll take like a bunch of it.
Here guys, do this one.
Daddy, look at it.
Then we went to the koala talk. We learned so much about koalas. There was even a baby. And one of my favorite facts were that a lot of people think that koalas are drunk from their eucalyptus because they sleep so much. But it's not true. It's just they sleep so much from the stuff that's inside the eucalyptus.
Bottom here is the beautiful Ruby, who's having a nice snuggly sleep. Then up the top above her is Pearl. We then have Chip here in the middle, or Chippy. And then right at the top here, we do have Bondi. Now, these girls are here for one specific reason. This is our koala nursery, and that does have to do with joeys. And some of you might have just seen before when I was doing my checks, we do have one beautiful joey out of the pouch, and his name is Max. So he is currently snuggled up tight with Mum. Now, usually around this time / later in the afternoon, he does start getting a little bit more active, a little bit more adventurous, and you might see him on Mum's back trying to figure out the world, trying to figure out what these things are that Mum Southern's actually getting 4 times the size of female Northerns. Now their fur coat is a little bit different to these guys. It's a bit colder down there, so they've got 3 layers on their and don't rock. But as well, these guys have some really cool hands. Now, none of the girls are really showing them off that well. They're all kind of hiding their thumbs in there, and they're her 3 other fingers. Okay, thank you. You can put that back now. Good job. But yeah, that's how these beautiful koalas stay up in those trees. Now, when it does come to other physical adaptations of our koalas, we do like to talk about their fur a bit. I did just do into conservation. Our beautiful girls here aren't just for show. They're not just here for me to talk about and go, look how cute our koalas are. Our girls here are ambassador animals, but more so than that, these girls grows taller buildings, more concrete, all these roads, the plants get diminished, and they can't get out. They get isolated into that area. Now, eventually, due to isolation, they all become related in that population, and they'll either stop breeding with each other from knowing they're related, or they will continue to breed, and unfortunately, their juveniles will not last long because they're born with deficiencies, and eventually that population will die out. Now, it's not just happening in that random town we've popped these koalas in. It is happening all throughout the world, and it is one of the biggest killers of our koalas. When testing was done at the end of the bushfires,
we're in Grace's bird garden. Bendy's Island because it's literally an island. a boa constrictor.
Where is it?
It's back there. Oh, there's two. One right there, one down there.
Oh yeah, where's the one down here?
Thank you so much for watching Sadie Sassy Reptiles. And don't forget you can also follow me on Facebook at Sadie Sassy Reptiles. And stay tuned for more videos in Australia and Malaysia. Bye! Then we went to the Crikey Cat. The Cricket Cat.